All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll have our student rep lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Kaylee.
Kristen Kimbenzi,
Here.
Glenn Zarka,
Here.
James Hewitt,
Here.
Jennifer Cliff, Jennifer Ray,
Here.
Cheryl Maddox Smith,
Here.
Jason Zuniga,
All right, and I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll support.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Mr. Sarka. All those in favor? Aye. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Kimbenzi, and everyone for joining us this evening. Graverette for hosting. It looks very nice in here. Under the superintendent report, our first item is going to be from Graverette and Dr. Kristen Peterson. So if she would like to come to the podium, we gotta try to talk into the mic if possible, since that's the way the audio gets picked up. So our sound guy will very much appreciate if you're at the mic. So Dr. Kristen Peterson, thank you.
All right, you're throwing me off here a little bit. I wasn't thinking I was going to be at the podium, but I can do this. Can you all hear me? All right. First, I just wanted to start off with saying thank you for the opportunity to speak with all of you today. Can I move this down a little so I can see? There you go. Yeah, I know. I gotta make eye contact. Okay. And a big thanks to Ron Marks, John Bloom, and Jared Hansen for this wonderful setup. And our building looks beautiful because of them. They are hardworking folks. I am still a relatively new administrator in MAPS, so I just kind of put a little bit about me up there. But one thing I want to highlight is my 11 years when I was at Marisa. I helped districts with their school improvement plan and with building MTSS, and I'm going to refer to that a little bit tonight. So I just want you to know that was part of my previous work. But the most important thing to know is I am a mom of a Graverette alum. This is Isla, who is at the middle school now. And Isla came here as a student after our family had a lot of change, right? And this is a brand new school, a new city, and she did nothing but excel. And then it wasn't until I was a principal, the first month being here, and I was like, oh, now I know why she did so well. And it's such a pleasure to be able to share all the great things that we have going on here at Graverette. And so my presentation is going to be taking our MAP strategic plan and how Graverette is working toward that plan. Little demographics here. We are the smallest of the elementary schools. I'll let you look at those numbers. Us going. So student achievement, we know the MAPS strategic plan is all about student achievement, and this is, I gotta say, gonna show off a little bit. I mean, it doesn't get any better than we are a National Blue Ribbon school. We're also a Michigan Reward school, so both on federal and state accountability, we get as high marks as you can hope for. And when people talk to me and they're like, oh, how's that principal gig going? I tell them that this is the ideal school to be a principal at. It doesn't get any better than this. And it just keeps getting better. Our federal accountability school index, last year, it's a score out of 100. We were at 88. In 22-23, we went up 4 points to 92. Our proficiency index went from 77 to 86. A lot to celebrate and to be proud of. This is taking all our M-STEP scores from last school year, so all the areas combined, all the grade levels combined. Graverette is in the green. The pink is comparing us to schools of similar size, and then the orange is the state average. And you can see Graverette is exceeding not only the state average, but also schools of similar demographics. And why is that? And I'm going to refer back to my 11 years where I would help districts in Marquette, Elger, RISA on school improvement. And sometimes if a school or a district got flagged for needing improvement, I would be called in to kind of be their support person and look at their data and help them through that process. And sometimes I would hear people in other districts say, well, you know, you plant potatoes, you get potatoes, and they would say these, like they didn't believe in their own impact to make a difference on student achievement. And in this building, everyone is always focused. They have that collective efficacy of we can make a difference in the lives of students. And I really believe that is why this school has such high achievement. These people are amazing. I could talk about them all day and the work that they do. But also, the district has invested in MTSS, and we are seeing the impact of that investment. And MAPS always had MTSS, but now our efforts are intentional, and there is a lot of work being done around this area. And we know with the multi-tiered system of support, there are 5 essential areas that are a part of that system. In my previous work, sometimes superintendents would say to me, they'd say, Kristen, just tell us what curriculum to buy. It isn't as simple as just buying a curriculum. It is building that entire system. And so we have had a lot of great professional development in MTSS. And we know that professional development is 5 days, but this district has invested in embedded PD, where we have our professional learning communities that meet twice a week. And I'm going to highlight Mrs. Smolinski here, who's in the audience, our instructional coach, who keeps the agenda. She keeps the work moving forward. I may have said I never want to be a principal in the building again without an instructional coach, because we can talk about a need, we can talk about a problem, we can talk about possible solutions, and the coach makes it happen. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's super inspiring to be a part of this work. This is our schedule. You can see that we have a comprehensive screening and assessment system and a process for continuously using data to make decisions. And this system was great, and then it just keeps getting better. This year, we've not only been having our benchmark assessments, but we've added in, on Wednesday, we have midpoint meetings where we are checking in. We're not waiting till January. We're checking in here in November on how are our students doing. Are they making progress? And I kid you not, I have worked in districts where they give the NWA and they never use the data or talk about the data. Oh, do we look at data? Every student's scores are marked. If they are below benchmark where we want them to be, it is highlighted. We are problem solving. What are we going to do about that? And we're tracking it all year long. We have actually John Young, who is now the MTSS coordinator at Marisa, has asked if he could join our meetings again, because our process is at a level that other districts want to learn from. And I want to give a hats off to Lori and Andrea here, Johnson, in the audience, because this is their work that they have done, and it is beautiful. So we know that we have some students that need more support than what they can get in the classroom, and so we have a tiered delivery system, but we have I would say we have enhanced our system of how we deliver that tiered support. Every 2 weeks, we are having problem-solving meetings. So we're not waiting until January to see if a student is failing. If a student is needing some support, the teacher has that opportunity every 2 weeks for us to meet and take a look at that. And also we have done is the district has invested in new curriculum materials, because that is one piece of the puzzle. And I have to show you, last year, we've never had numbers like this before. I know it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to read it for you. So in kindergarten, 84th percentile. That is, I've never seen that number before in all my years of working in districts. And if you look at first grade, we had no students that were in the red. That is unheard of. It is just exceptional achievement. So I'm going to show that off a little bit tonight. So academic achievement, super high. The building is rocking in that area. But another area that we keep data on is social emotional behavior health. And that is also part of MAP's strategic plan. Because we know that MTSS is not just about academics, but it's also about behavior and social emotional. So we collect data on whenever there is a behavior incident. We track where it happened, we tracked what kind of behavior it was, what time of day, and we discovered last year when we were looking at this data, a system goal, a good operating system is you want 90% of your population to be like rule followers. You see those cute little kids there? We want them all to be lining up so orderly, because when we're orderly, then we're not losing any instructional time. And when we were looking at our numbers, we were at 79% at the end of last year. And so just like we have a district leadership team, we have a building leadership team, and those folks there who serve on that team. And so we looked at that and we did some brainstorming. We invited Kelly Sager from Marisa to guide us on, okay, what can we do to improve this? And our goals this year are creating calmer classrooms, teaching students how to regulate their emotions, and supporting staff in responding to dysregulated students. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Inside Out, but it's all about feelings. So we had some fun at Halloween, and we were the Inside Out characters. We not only teach a lot here, but we also have a lot of fun. And so we create calmer classrooms through teaching our behavior expectations, rewarding positive behaviors. We have star tickets. Every week our students are called down. It is a fun way to start the week. And then I just want to say first Friday of every month at 3 p.m. if you ever want to come to the gym and have some fun and an ice cream sandwich, you are more than welcome. The kids, they think it's the greatest thing to have some gym time. Another thing we started doing that I have to say I maybe copied from one of our other principals in the district is not only referring students to the office for discipline, but referring students to the office for positive things. And then they have a chance to be principal of the day. So that's been a real positive addition. And then we started announcing our star students during Monday morning announcements on Google Meet, and that's been fun this year too. So the other big change that we added to support our students around behavior and social emotional learning is all teachers were trained in TRAILS, which is a free social emotional learning curriculum. And we did that at the start of the school year because in the past, social emotional maybe was a separate special, or the school counselor would teach that, but we are all teachers of social emotional learning, and we want to be using the same language. And so we mapped that out. We mapped out the lessons, so they are split between the classroom teacher, the technology teacher, and the school counselor. And we are really teaching our kids about the think, feel, do cycle, that all thoughts and feelings are okay. They give us good information about what matters to us, but not all behaviors are okay. Behaviors that hurt others or disrupt learning are not okay. And some students, it's some teaching to understand that. Sometimes they think, well, I got mad, that's why I hit them. No, it's okay you got mad, but you always have a choice. And so we are really working on that this year. And so if a student is referred to the office, it is not only some discipline, but we are learning and we are reflecting. And so we reflect through that think, feel, do cycle. And we have reminders throughout the building that all emotions are okay. It's what you do with them that matters. Another thing that is new this year to support students' needs is we got a grant through our collaboration with Marisa for $3,000 to create calming corners. And so all students know that when they are having those big emotions, that at any space in the building, they can go to a place, take a break, and there's reminders about taking a deep breath. Maybe they have a little fidget that helps that they squeeze. We have tools to support students. Last spring, we also had a social emotional family night, so we can support families in this work. And I thought I saw Kelly here. Is Kelly here? Nope, she must have just been picking up her kids. Kelly Frasman, who is one of our Braverette parents, it took about a year, but she got 600 blue knitted or crocheted hats from the community for Hats Not Hate Bully Awareness Day. It was kind of a beautiful project. And then we collaborated with Liberty Children's Art, and we had like an all-day art day. So lots of beautiful things. October 31st, we had all our aides stay, and they got professional learning and how to respond to dysregulated students and how to use our sensory room. So that is something we worked on. And I'm going to close with just some culture of learning, so you can just see a snapshot of other beautiful things that are happening in this building. This is Mrs. Gerard's classroom. I walked in one day. I like to walk through the building. And again, I'm going to go back to when I was an educational consultant. I would sometimes go through schools that needed reform, and I could see immediately in a classroom what was missing instructionally. And I would actually get sick to my stomach, because every child, no matter where they live, should have the access to the same quality education. I never feel sick to my stomach in this building. I'm always impressed. Like, I walk in and like, look at this collaboration and this high level math. Our teachers take our students outside in the courtyard. It's beautiful. This year, they are wind catchers. And we have a school greenhouse that Mrs. Stone here and Mrs. Anderson talk about working with the community, kids learning responsibility. They make soup, they take care of the greenhouse. They're a part of a community. In kindergarten, we have a bunny, Luna, right? And Mrs. Cornett has said that since Luna has come, she helps calm students down, that it's been such a wonderful addition in our classroom. One school, one book, where we all read the same book and we collaborate together. It is beautiful. And we do a lot of other things that support literacy. We had a book swap last school year. We had a family math night this year, and sometimes when we have these family nights, the kids are running all over, and I was anxious about the family math night, it was not chaos. They were all doing math with their families, and they got to take a game bag home. It was awesome. Graverette Interest Fair is every February, where students choose something of interest that they want to investigate, and then they report out. It's always a highlight. Fourth grade, again, they do the Hopping Seedling Sale, where they decide something that they are going to sell, and then those proceeds go to a field trip. We have peer-to-peer, where peers are helping other peers. Doesn't get any better than that. It's pretty beautiful. So I know I talked really fast because you have a full agenda. But in closing, I just wanted to say that many of you, or maybe you don't know, that I took this job because I had love I wanted to give to other children. Many of you know that I lost my son 5 years ago. And I was like, I need to take this love and give it to other kids. And what I didn't expect is the love in return. And this is a place where we have community and connection, and it is just a beautiful place. And I feel really honored to be part of the MAPS district and to be leading this building. And I wore the earrings tonight. This is little Maddie. She saw these blue earrings, and she's like, I saw them. I had to get them for you. Little Thea here saw a heart, and she painted it, and she gave it to me this fall. And so there's these little moments that are priceless. You can't measure this in a test of what we do in MAPS. We build community and relationships and connection. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting this work. Thank you for supporting our school and your dedication. Any questions? Okay, did I make it in 10 minutes, Linda? I know it went from 25 minutes to, okay, you have 10. And I'm like, okay, I can do it in 10.
That was very efficient.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Very well done.
All right.
Thank you. to stop sharing, so
Yep,
that
I'm
will
gonna
allow
do that
me
right now.
to share the next presentation. Ms. LeBrecq, would you like the clicker, or are you gonna?
Yes, I would like to clicker, but Solar tells me this is not tuned in. It says it's-
Oh, did I not?
I'm trying to figure that out right now. Is that better? Is this better? It's about as good as we get here now. You'll have to wait for a future projector for this pristine projection system that we require. I'm prepared to deliver that, so. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I'm Becky LeBrecq, the director of the Shires Planetarium, and it is my extreme pleasure to be here tonight to announce something that I think we've all been waiting for a very long time. I've been with Mass for 15 years, and about 10 of those years I've spent working on this project, and it's my extreme pleasure to be here tonight. Zach, does your clicker work?
Did until about 5 seconds ago.
Okay, cool. Would you like it back?
Let me see if I can do it.
I only have a couple slides. I feel like I too was asked to short things, and like I can deliver that. Here's just that. No worries.
Maybe if you just direct me to.
Yeah, I think it'll feel logical here. I like the starry vibe. That's cool. Thank you. Well, while he's getting that going, I don't need to waste your time. I'm sure those slides will pop up there eventually. But we are prepared to take on a $1 million renovation at the Shires Planetarium. Definitely by far the biggest renovation that we've had in our history. And we are replacing our digital projection system. Oh, that's great. So really, I'm down to that second slide. Yeah. So we are ready to transform the planetarium with a $1 million transformation that will include a Zeiss Velvet Duo projection system. We will be one of 30 Zeiss planetariums in the United States and the only Zeiss planetarium in the Midwest, and so we're very excited about that. This puts us in a very elite category of all planetariums in the world, really. And so we're super excited to bring that. But in addition to having a wonderful digital star field, we will also have new seating, state-of-the-art lighting, sound system, and a fully immersive experience for all, including also some building renovations. Go ready. And so today we're here to announce that to the board that we have reached that point. We've placed the order for the projector, so that's being built in Germany right now, and it will be here in June to install. And so we're actively working on all the things that happen before a large renovation of this size. And so the public has probably seen less programming than they want to see, and part of that is because we're a very small staff and we're working hard to achieve a $1 million renovation and all the things that come along with it. And we're truly going to take this by storm and be leaders in the planetarium industry across the world. And so that undertaking for a small staff with limited time is tough. And so we're very thankful for the support that we have. And many people have asked how they can help us, and we've launched a project, and that's what we're here to announce today. We've launched a public campaign. The Friends of the Shires Planetarium Group is a public support group that works on ensuring the stability of the planetarium for many years to come, so that our children and their children can continue to enjoy the planetarium for many years in this area. And so we're announcing our Adopt a Star campaign. You can kind of see in the graphic on the right, we have already raised over $750,000. It's actually over $760,000 of the $1 million that are needed for this project. We have two very big contributors. The Shires Institute has always been our greatest supporter, and so they've committed $250,000 to this project, as well as the state of Michigan has committed $250,000 to this project, really showcasing how important this project is for our region and really for the entire Midwest region. And we have many other foundations and businesses who have also joined us. And now we'd like to ask you to join us and help us complete this project. So we have a really fun Adopt a Star campaign. You can adopt a virtual star, and you can put your name on it, or someone that you love's name on it, or your business name on it. And so really we're asking the community to help us band together to complete this really exciting project that is going to put us on the map for planetariums across the world. And so you can see some information there. And then also, if you go to our website at Sheriff's Planetarium, or the Friends of Sheriff's Planetarium.org, you'll see all this information, along with all of our materials that I presented tonight, so if you'd like to look at them further. And I think you can click there, Zach. This just shows kind of our timeline for the project, and this is tough to see on a slide, but we have a handout in the back that has this on it. And again, if you just go to friendsofsheriffsplanetarium.org, you can view this in full, and you can look at all the materials there. And the main thing to note is that we'll probably be wrapping up programming completely in the early part of the year. We will close for this renovation. We're working on many pieces and parts behind the scene to make that happen. And then we will do some install and construction through the month of June. And then we'll do some training over the summer. And so our big grand relaunch for the public is slated for September of 2025. And it's going to be quite a sight to see. So we're looking forward to having everyone in. And so, yeah, that's a bit about our project. And then I think I have one more slide up there, Zach. Just our contact information. Myself and Eric Smith are here tonight. And as well as nearly my entire board, if not all my board. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jacob Phillips, who's my partner in this. And couldn't have done this without you, Jacob. So thank you for your commitment and time. But yeah, our contact information is up there. We'll hang out. If you'd like to ask me questions now, you can, but we'll be here if you have further questions. In addition, we brought some materials in the back. We have some brochures, some bookmarks, some stickers, all the things. And so please take what you'd like, and if you'd like some more, just let us know and help us spread the word about this fantastic project. Thank you.
Yes, more materials in the back if you want to learn more. So, the third item under the superintendent report is transportation trip rates. For this part of the presentation, I'm going to pass it over to Assistant Superintendent Lamman.
Good evening. In your board packet, you'll have a memo from Lloyd Vanderstaff, our new Auxiliary Services Director, regarding transportation trip rates for athletic trips, field trips, and for out-of-district organizations. We have not increased our rates since 2022, so it has been a couple of years. Since that time, we have had some significant inflationary expenditures in the form of additional compensation for staff, as well as the cost for purchasing and repairing our school bus fleet. And Mr. Vanderstaff is here as well this evening, if point him out in the back there, in case there's any questions for myself or for Mr. Vanderstaff. But we are recommending adoption of the rates as presented in your packet. And we can go through these if you'd like, or if anyone has any questions.
Does anyone have any questions regarding the
Are the
rates?
meal rates just based on per diem, IRS per diem?
These rates are not based off the IRS per diem. These are based off an internal calculation averaging staff time for bus drivers.
And is it paid, do they get that? Is it go, that amount go directly to bus driver use as they would? Or
I'm sorry, I didn't.
does that amount get passed to the bus driver as, straight to the bus driver as an allowance?
No.
Okay.
No. It's an internal rate. The bus driver still earns their rate. It's what we allocate within our system.
All right, sounds like we're good on transportation trip rates. So that concludes the superintendent report. I'm going to pass it back over to President Cambenzi.
Thank you. Moving on to approving the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of board meeting of October 21st, 2024, minutes of the committee of the whole meeting of November 4th, minutes of closed session of November 4th, and personnel report dated November 2024, and the financial reports of October 2024.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Sarka, support by Mr. Hewitt. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the student school board representatives report.
Thank you. Caleb Chmielewski, my counterpart, has strep throat, so he will not be here today, sadly. But so far, some stuff going on at MSHS. On election day, MSHS held a mock election. Students filled out an identical ballot to one that could be found when voting at the Y. On Veterans Day, 3 veterans came to MSHS and performed a flag changing for several MSHS classes, and the MSHS chorale sang the national anthem. The school musical, Les Miserables, was a huge success. There was great attendance at each performance, along the student attendance as well was great. The actors and actresses were very terrific, and it was a very high quality production. So for some sports, the football season, they narrowly just missed the playoffs, but even at that last game in Petoskey, I believe there was a great student turnout, and so the hearts were low, but the spirits were high. Okay, so volleyball season results, they lost, I think, in the first round of the playoffs, that's what I heard, so that's sad, but again, a lot of turnout. The cross-country team, the boys and the girls won UP finals, so it was a complete sweep, and I think it was just close, very close, so it was good to see that. New season starting, the boys and girls basketball, skiing, wrestling, bowling, and swimming are all starting up as well. I would like to invite the board to the first boys basketball game on the 22nd against Munising. The girls take a little longer to play at home, but be sure to come to any sporting events you would like. And stuff that the students look forward to, the winter formal, the holiday dance is coming up on December 7th. And yeah, a lot of students are hyped for that, so thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to comments from the public. I have one, Sarah Bixley. Oh, sorry.
Is you fine or shall I? Okay.
Hi, there's some familiar faces here. It's nice to see. My name is Sarah Bixby. I work as a multilingual tutor at MSHS. I live at 1502 Garfield, about a block and a half from MSHS. I'm here to talk a little bit about the position and our team. We have, first let me talk about a good day, and this was a good day, and there are many of them. Today we had an ELD, or I'm going to use some acronyms, and I'll try to tell you what they are. Remember to tell you. Multilingual learner is an ML, multilingual learner tutor is me. And we have what I'm calling us the ELD team, English Language Development Team. We are professionals, 3 of us, well, 2 professionals and 1 student who's a pre-service teacher in English that we work together with the ML students at MSHS. There are 4 of them. Recently, a part of my good day is going to Bothwell. I get to go there Mondays and Tuesdays. I spend 50 minutes on Monday and 50 minutes on Tuesday to go over and work with a French-speaking student, and I get to speak a little French and get to know him. That's definitely a highlight of my day, is working with these students, some of whom are asylum seekers and some of whom are newcomers, displaced. A couple of our students are from Ukraine. So we're really, really fortunate to have this group of students to work with. Another get-to that I have, besides working with the Dream Team, one of which is an MFHS graduate. Her name is Aria Frost. She's here amongst us. And again, Kaylee Gutner from NMU, the pre-service teacher. I also get to team with the colleagues and the administration and the counselors, because as ML tutors, we are on the ground every day with the students, and we have a really intimate relationship with them, and so we can offer a lot of insight as to how we support them during the day and help the teachers support them. Through these 5 years of being an ML tutor at MAPS, I have worked at Bothwell, started at Bothwell, moved to MSHS, moved to MAHS, and then recently now MSHS and BMS, so that's really fun. Our duties are we teach students, we teach our colleagues. We have had opportunity to do mini PDs during lunch where we help our colleagues understand how to work with MLs. It's a pretty relatively new clientele here, and it's growing incrementally, and there are lots of ways to support them that are slightly different than how you'd support other students in the classroom, several of them. But even today we had a time when we had to intervene because emotions get the better of these students sometimes, and the day is overwhelming for them. So we intervene and use our expertise to kind of assuage the situation. We master content, because as tutors are teachers. We teach a smaller amount of students, but we have to master the content, because especially when the students aren't English language speakers, they need to know and trust that we know the stuff inside and out. We are translating, we are speaking in other languages, and we are differentiating, accommodating, and getting to know and creating relationships with parents and families. We're also innovating, and a few of the ways we innovate we have been making some great headway with creating student profiles and other documents that help the process. So I want to get to the part that's not as fun, is that we are not part of the MTSS system. That I've seen great things happen with that. We are not part of that. We have not been supported and MESPA supported employees since I've worked here. And so this is my opportunity to invite you to think about this and how we might fit in as multilingual language tutors and a dream team, an English language development dream team, how we might fit into the MESPA scenario so that we can better understand what our colleagues are doing at the high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, transportation trip rates. So I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adopt the new transportation trip rates as presented.
Support. Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Ms. Ray. Any further comments?
I have a question. So how will the new transportation trip rates affect our students directly? That probably is more for Jen.
So those trip rates are charged for various athletic events, field trips. So there would be an increase in the cost of those. The athletic fund is part of the general fund, so essentially a lot of that will be just reabsorbed inside the general fund. But it does establish rates for internal accounting for those purposes.
Are there means for students that maybe can't afford these trips? Are there scholarships or means for these, for this increase?
I think that is handled for the field trips. I think that is handled at the building level, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe Kristen, I see her nodding in the corner. I do believe that they do try to accommodate that at the building level for various field trips.
Okay, I just want to make sure that this is an equitable thing for all of our students and not just, I don't want to be missing a point, so thank you for the explanation.
But it's mostly just an internal amount when you're looking at budgeting a trip or charging a trip to the general fund.
My only comment would be, I'm sure it'll increase, classroom and field trip costs per student. But I can say on every request that comes home, there's always an additional option for every parent to donate additional money for somebody who may not be able to afford it. I don't know if there's ever been a scenario where students have been left out, but I don't think that I've heard of anything like that.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Any further comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to board member comments. We'll start with Mrs. Maddox-Smith.
I'm first here. I just want to thank Dr. Peterson. That was an amazing presentation. Just everything that's going on here at Grave Rat, and I know I've said it before, but our favorite time of the year, I think, is going to every school and seeing what they're doing, and just the commitment and passion you bring to this school is just evident in everything that you're doing. So thank you so much from all of us. Ms. LeBrecq, the Shiras Planetarium, it is just such an amazing thing and an amazing part of our community. Our students will be just touching the edges of the universe, and that's just something you can't put a price tag on that. That's such an amazing thing for our community. Caleb, thank you for the update. I love the student report. Probably almost best of all of our meeting, just hearing your take on what's going on and your comments. So thank you.
Ms. Ray?
I just want to say that I'm impressed and continue to be with all the positive stuff happening in our district. There's lots to work on. I appreciate you coming, Mrs. Bixby, Sarah, and speaking. There's always room for improvement, as we know, but it's just impressive to see how much positive stuff is happening within our community, which is, the foundation of that are our schools. We can see it here, and the fact that I reiterate this every time, that the social and emotional well-being of every child is, that whole child perspective is just really important, and I see the schools building culture around that and kind of coming at it from a sustainable way in so many different supportive aspects for teachers, for admin, for the students, for the parents. And it's really exciting to listen to each school doing it differently and also learning from each other. I love that you added in that piece from Stephanie, and that you model each other and learn from each other constantly. So I find it to be a very exciting time to be on the Board of Ed, as we've gotten through a lot of difficult and challenging times within the schools and outside and so forth, and it's really fun to see kind of things come to fruition here. Thank you.
Mr. Hewitt?
Yeah, just thanks again to Dr. Peterson and all the Gray Barrett staff. I think many people know my close ties with this building, and just always had a great affinity for Gray Barrett, so I'm always glad to put a spotlight on that. And very exciting news to hear about the Shiras Planetarium having the project finally nearing completion, or nearing the beginning of completion. I think the first year on the board 10 years ago, we took a tour when it was down, and it's nice to see that there might actually be, a final chapter to that story. So, otherwise, appreciate everybody else coming out to share the great things that are happening with us tonight. So.
Mr. Sarka?
Thank you. I grew up in Lincoln and Fair Avenue, and so the planetarium was always in my backyard. And just, I don't want to say took it for granted, but I just assumed every kid had a planetarium in their backyard and could hang out there on the weekends. And then when it was open, to go in there and lay on the floor and look at the stars was just, again, an amazing opportunity. And we've had that now for over 50 years. And being a child of the 60s, space was so much a bigger part of our upbringing. My brother and I both wrote letters to NASA. He suggested a car that you could drive on the moon, and I suggested a motorcycle because I was a fun kid. And NASA responded with an album with all the speeches about the space program, and pictures, and letters, and photographs. And it was an amazing time because I think it was assumed that that's one of the things that the federal government did. They promoted that kind of education, and they got kids fired up. And NASA certainly was on let's get every kid to think that they're going to go to the moon. So I assumed we would have flying cars, we would have, dinners in a pill, and we would all be to the moon by now. And sometime when you're 11 or 12 and you decide you're not going to be an astronaut, you're going to be a veterinarian, or you're going to be a lawyer or whatever. I didn't want to be a lawyer when I was 11 or 12, but when you give that up, you still have that basis that's kind of that foundation little bit of the Shiras Planetarium. Because when you're looking at the stars, when you're thinking about going to the moon, going to school in California, or going to a new city, or learning about a new culture and learning a language becomes all that much more doable. So planetarium's not just about space, it's about all the things we're showing kids that they can do. Hopefully they'll get the flying cars and the dinner and a pill and get to go to the moon, because that seems to be, again, something that the world is interested in, but it's magic. I know it's science, but it's also magic. So congratulations, and this is something the whole community can celebrate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to board president comments. Just thank you so much for having us. This is where I went to middle school, so it's always fun to come back and just kind of look around and be like, I thought this place was a lot bigger, but I was a lot smaller then too. So, but thank you so much for having us, and Becky, thank you so much for all the hard work that you do, and this is just fantastic, and you should be very, very, very proud of yourself for all of your hard work. So thank you everyone for that. Announcements and other meetings. November 27th through 29th, Thanksgiving break, no school. December 3rd, the Bothwell Band Winter Concert at Kaufman at 6:30. December 4th, Bothwell and MSHS Orchestra Winter Concert at Kaufman at 6:30. December 5th, MSHS Band's Winter Concert at Kaufman at 6:30. December 9th, MSHS Choral Winter Concert at Kaufman at 6:30. December 11th, Bothwell Choral Winter Concert at Kaufman at 6:30. And December 16th is our board meeting at the MSHS Library at 5:30. And I would entertain a motion to recess to closed session, parents' request under Section 8B of the Open Meetings Act to address student 2025-02 discipline matter.
I make a motion to recess to closed session to hear the 2025-02 disciplinary.
Support.
Motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Mrs. Maddox Smith. Do we need a, no. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll be moving to closed session.